Last week I reviewed the Genesis version of Aladdin, where I had mentioned that I had more memories and experience with the SNES game. Well, this week, I'm looking at that game. Made by Capcom instead of Virgin, the game is entirely different, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. Of course, being that it's a game based on a movie, the plot remains the same. You still star as Aladdin as he platforms through Agrabah and other locations from the film. Most of the stages are in the same general order as the Genesis game, so there's really no point to me repeating the same stuff I said in the previous review. However, the gameplay itself is vastly different. Being that the game is on the Super Nintendo, it's a bit slower paced for the better and worse. Aladdin is still running around, but lacks the speed to really make it believable. Yes, there is a dash button, but I usually forgot about it, which is really unusual for me, considering that I'm almost always running in games. In any case, there's plenty of reasons why this isn't really a huge deal. For one, Aladdin can now climb up ledges. This is required to navigate the levels, as is the ability to swing from things like wooden pegs that jut out from the walls. These two moves are essential to completing the stage, as some leaps require being able to either clamber or swing. In addition, Aladdin can find a carpet or a rug that's just sitting around. Aladdin is able to use this to glide through the air, slowing his descent. Although it's never actually required, it does make the game considerably easier, and is easy enough to use by simply pressing a shoulder button. When you locate this rug, you keep it until you have to continue. So if you can find it in the first stage of the game and don't need to start over, you'll keep it in your possession until the very end of the game. You may have noticed that Aladdin no longer has a sword to attack his enemies. Well, nope. He does still have apples to throw, which are once again easy enough to find throughout the stages. But the other way Aladdin has to defeat enemies, well, he takes a page out of Mario's book and bounces off of the enemy's head. It does feel a bit out of place, considering that I came from a game where you have to have sword fights, but oh well, it works well enough. Of course, you'll need to occasionally time your attacks, such as going against archers that will fire shots upwards at you, so you do have that to worry about. Your health meter is also much different. The Genesis game had that lamp with smoke wisping out of it to show you your life, but there were times where I questioned just how much health I actually had. Here is the more understandable hearts per life point method. You start out with 3 hearts, but can eventually upgrade to a max of I believe 10 of them. You can find heart upgrades in the stages, but the easier way is to win them in this after stage bonus game. In addition, to regain some of your life back, you can find bread and chicken. Obviously, that chicken is going to give you a lot more of your life back than the bread will. There are also plenty of gems floating around, both green and red in color. There are 10 red jewels in each stage, and I don't remember if there's really any incentive to find them all, other than just bragging rights. Maybe a continue? I've rarely ever had to continue in the game, so I'm really not sure. But the green gems, well, I know what those are for. If you can collect 100 of them, you gain another heart to your life meter. Not quite as useful as an extra life, but hey, it does help. As for that post-level minigame, it's kind of similar to the slot machine to the Genesis port, but at the same time, it's much easier to play. For one, all of your rewards are on a wheel, and as it's spinning, you simply press a button at the reward you're aiming for. If you timed it right, you earn that prize. Plus, there is no losing panel, so everyone's a winner. I should have mentioned that in order to access this game, you need to obtain the floating scarab that's unleashed when opening up a specific treasure chest in the level. It'll float above the stage, and you'll have a limited amount of time to snag it before it flies away for good. Most of the time, it's not too difficult to grab it, although I've been dumb and managed to get a game over because I have spent more effort trying to obtain it than trying to successfully complete the stage. All this contributes to a game that is much simpler than its blast-processed sibling. Enemies are much easier to dodge, health is replenished often, and lives can easily be obtained in the bonus game. There's also a password system, something that was sorely missed in the Genesis game. Plus, enemies are slow to move around and are super easy to evade and attack. The rug/carpet thing also makes the platforming even simpler than it already was. That's not to say that these are bad design choices though. It just lends to a more laid-back experience than the higher pace of the Virgin-developed game. Although the animation isn't quite as polished as the Genesis game, the attention to detail is still there. There's still an impressive amount of movement frames for every sprite, and Abu can actually be found trailing Aladdin in almost every stage, which is a neat touch that was missing from the other game. The overall look of the game retains the cartoonish feel, and bright colors were used, which, in my opinion, makes the game look a bit brighter than the other. Of course, there are some things that the Genesis game did a bit better. For example, the level layout is much more linear this time around. Whereas the Sega game allowed you to serpentine around the stages both horizontally and vertically, there's a lot more focus on a straight A to B path in the SNES outing. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but it does take away any enjoyment of exploration. Secondly, this is the SNES, so of course there's a bit of slowdown when there's too much action going on. It's not usually a problem, but it makes the final boss even easier due to it slowing down every time Jafar attempts to submerge you in the fire. It's a really cool boss battle, but it's way too simple to complete. That's SNES Aladdin by Capcom. It's a fantastic game, and as I said in my Genesis Aladdin review, I actually prefer this one to that one. Maybe it's just nostalgia, but I just feel that it's overall a more polished game. It's more colorful, the music is a bit better, although it does contain that stupid reverb that Capcom loves so much, and the password system is a huge advantage if you're not quite good at the game. But when you get down to it, both games do have their pros and cons, and neither are bad games in any way. If you have a way to play both, it's definitely my opinion that you should own both games. Final score? 5 out of 7. This is Reaper. Happy fragging.